In times of uncertainty and growing security concerns, questions about troop deployment naturally draw public attention. People want to know why soldiers are being deployed, where they are going, and what their mission is. These are important questions because troop deployment affects not only national security, but also the lives of soldiers and their families. To help us better understand these issues, we are joined by Bantu Holomisa, said by Deputy Minister of Defense and Military Veterans, as Ramphosa set to fight crime in South Africa. Stay tuned, let's break it down. Please kindly subscribe, like, and comment.
Let's discuss the upcoming deployment of members of the military to help respond to crimes including gangsterism and illegal mining. Bring into the conversation the Deputy Minister for Defence and Military Veterans, Bantu Holomisa. Good to have you on the SABC News channel this evening, Deputy Minister. So, boots on the ground in response to crimes like illegal mining and indeed gangsterism.
Thank you very much for inviting me to participate in this important debate. As you are aware, the President has made this announcement last Thursday, and we are waiting now for Parliament, and in particular the police, to approach the Department of Defense with details as to where do they want us to assist them, in which areas in Cape Town, and also which areas in Gauteng around the mines. But in terms of state of readiness, yes, we are ready. We are just waiting for those issues to be addressed by them.
I believe the words you used in an interview earlier today was that you are ready to deploy immediately. Is there a sense of the numbers of soldiers that may need to be deployed? And also, I mean, these are two provinces, the number of areas in which they might be needed from the SAPS, even if they haven't given you a final breakdown.
For this, we wait for the police to tell us how many people would they like to be assisted with. But normally, you look at the brigade or a company which to do such work, but we don't want to do thumb sucking. But soldiers, we have enough personnel, equipment, and we are ready. So I cannot be in a position to mislead you on that.
And Deputy Minister, the jurisdiction or the functions of the military are very different from those of the police service. Speak to us about what the responsibilities of these soldiers will be once they are deployed, keeping in mind that you do have the outstanding confirmations from the SAPS in terms of need and ultimately the parliamentary process that I understand is also yet to happen. What will they be doing after they're deployed?
The Defence Force will be working closely with SAPS. There will be joint operation centers in the affected areas, as and when the police request us, either for patrolling the area with them or that they want to go and arrest people or do searches. The army will always be on standby to assist them. Remember that the Defence Force has no powers to arrest, but we have a duty to powers to assist the police as and when they request us. So those operational issues will leave it to the details on the ground. But we are not going to tell you that we are going to surround Township A or Suburb A or Corner A and so on. No, forget about that. The important thing is that the army and the police will work together, and the Department of Police will be in charge of this operation.
How do you make the presence of the army in these communities effective without it becoming an over-militarization, shall we say, of the communities? You might recall in the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, there were instances, and at least one instance where even the SANDF was accused of being heavy-handed, leading to even the death of a man. How do we avoid such incidents?
When orders are issued by the commanders on the ground to those troops who will be deployed in these areas, the commanders will insist that the discipline must be held in higher standard, and that the deployed soldiers, they must stick to their mission. And you have to make sure when you brief troops that they understand their mission. Their mission is to assist the police. In other words, they will have to work closely with the police on the ground, not just loitering alone there without the police presence. So we need to stick to that. But the other issue you are raising, where there were mistakes in the past or incidents, this time around, the troops will be told that, remember that during COVID period, this is what soldiers were accused of. Therefore, avoid those issues. But at the same time, the suspect and criminals must not take chances.
Right, and let's talk about then the mixed reactions. I don't know if you were able to hear our report that we played just before the beginning of your conversation tonight, where even on the Cape Flats, where gangsterism has been so rife and has really destroyed many lives, the community is still divided about whether the SANDF's presence will help to make a difference. People, in fact, like the Cape Crisis Coalition, feels we're putting a Band-Aid on a gaping wound and it'll only lead to a temporary lull, like what happened in 2019. And then when the military leaves, there appears to be no real plan to respond to the problem. How long will the military remain in these communities? And ultimately, how do we ensure that the benefits are sustained beyond the SANDF deployment?
There will have to be some concurrent activities which would take place outside the soldiers who you see in the streets. Such concurrent activities would include, among others, the briefing of by the police, state intelligence agencies as to who are the perpetrators of this, who are the kingpins behind this violence. What is the cause of this violence? Is it because people are fighting about controlling territory to distribute drugs? If that is the case, could we say the people we will be chasing in the streets have access to order drugs from South America or anywhere in the world? Who brings these drugs? Therefore, the state intelligence, as well as the police and crime intelligence of the police, including the World Police Forums, they will have to tell the government who are doing this. Are they living in South Africa? If they are at Waterfront or Sea Point or other suburbs, or they are living in the townships, someone must be held accountable. Therefore, I agree with the forum, which is having some doubts, to say it will not work. It can work temporarily, but the long term, some people must be arrested. Those who are living in luxury life in the Camps Bay and other areas, they must be arrested and tell us what is the aim of you bringing drugs in South Africa, if that is the main cause of this violence.
Then briefly, Deputy Minister, there are calls in the Eastern Cape from the DA, even Premier Oscar Mabuyane. I was looking at a report in Daily Maverick today saying they too want the SANDF to be deployed to the northern parts of Gqeberha to deal with gangsterism there. Is that deployment going to happen? Is it on the cards?
There is no doubt in anybody's mind that the decision by the cabinet, and in particular the decision by the president to deploy soldiers to help police, is not going to end up in Cape Town and Johannesburg. You still have here areas like Eastern Cape N2, where the construction mafia are interfering with the construction of those bridges there at Msikaba and other areas. Yes, we hear now that the Port Elizabeth Gqeberha is also complaining or requesting. Let them reduce that to the president, and the Minister of Police will table that into the National Security Council. And we have to deal with this crime once and for all throughout the country.
All right, Bantu Olomisa, Deputy Minister for